Hello and welcome to Leaders of Tomorrow, India's only daily television platform for small businesses. We bring you the right information to empower you, the SME entrepreneur. Tonight on the show, we're putting the spotlight on Lucideus, which is our influencer conversation, as well as ICSI. In a world that is increasingly connected by data, the security of that data is as crucial as well. I caught up with Saket Modi, the founder of Lucideus, to understand what data security means in today's scenario, how small businesses are approaching data security, and what they should and shouldn't be doing when it comes to securing their data. Take a listen. Saket, thanks for your time here and for coming down to our studios and really talking about something which is so crucial to the life cycle really of any company, no matter how big or small you are, and that's data security. And you're a company that's involved very deeply with data security across the life cycle of multiple companies. Before we talk about data security, maybe we should kick this interview off by talking about Lucideus, talking about your journey as an entrepreneur.
My journey, Sunanda, it started as a computer science engineer. I've always been a geek and a nerd, and I say that with a lot of pride. I've always seen technology as the great enabler, the way by which mankind will be empowered with every possible things, not only in the near future, but forever in the future. But with technology, there comes natural risks, and the number one risk is the security of that technology. What if it's used against you? What if somebody uses it, for doing things it was not originally designed to do? And that's what excited me always about venturing into this territory of cybersecurity, where you actually go into the depth of cyber. And once you understand cyber in a very, very fundamental first principles level, then you can twist and bend things or stop other people from twisting and bending things in a digital setup of enterprises, consumers, governments, etc., etc. That's what Lucideus does.
But was it easy for you in the initial days, because it is such a niche field, not a lot of people really understand perhaps the importance for data security. Was it easy starting out?
That's the opportunity, and that's the very reason why, in general, an entrepreneur is supposed to be a visionary, where you're able to see not just today but tomorrow. In the words of Steve Jobs, the future belongs to those who can see the future today itself. And I believe that there is no doubts that the future of mankind is digital. We are all moving towards not only digital India, but digital human race in every possible vertical, geography, and even size of business.
Okay.
And when you do that, security, I believe, would be the number one question that everybody would be asking. And therefore, in the initial days, I think the awareness 6 years back when we started was not as high, but that actually gave us great time to prepare the groundwork, the team, the technology, the competencies.
Okay.
And today, when some of the largest companies, governments are going digital, we are fortunate to be in the forefront of partnering with them in their digital transformation journey to make it a secure digital transformation journey.
Okay, I will break it up in terms of some of the work that you're doing, but what is data security? What are maybe the various touch points that someone watching this interview should be aware of to say that these are all the different levels at which you have data which possibly could be exposed and at the threat of risk?
If you think about data inside a technology setup, think of it like blood running in your body. Everything that's getting interchanged from here to there, which carries the most vital information or vital nutrients by which you're alive. That's what empowers any technology setup for any SME or a large company which is there. Now, when you talk about data security, you're talking about the security of the most vital aspect of the entire technology stack. Because the whole point is to get to the data using different mediums like your application, your infrastructure, people, and trying to hack them, your governance policies, etc., to get to the core, which is data in this case. So data security fundamentally, if I were to expand the horizon and call it cyber security in general, that's something which talks about the resilience of the technology that you're building. How much can you trust the technology that you're building is what cybersecurity is all about.
Okay, so for someone who's watching this interview to say, okay, yes, I do know that I need to secure my data, what should they do? What are the different steps? Do they perhaps hire someone like yourself? What if they can't afford that cost? What should they be doing?
So there are three aspects that you can divide this into, which is people, process, and technology. To do all of that, you need budgets. So for budgets, typically what we've seen as a spend trend perspective, this is, you might be surprised, this is true for both large companies and small companies. It ranges anywhere between 5 to 15% of your total IT budget. So even the world's largest bank like JP Morgan Chase spends $10 billion on IT. This is with their last year's spend, out of which $1 billion, which is 10% of $10 billion, was spent only on the cyber security aspect.
So that's like a thumb rule, 5 to 15%.
5 to 15% is a thumb rule. Now, once the spend is there, now you want to get a guy who understands cybersecurity in your team. Think of cybersecurity as a very specialized thing like law or say accountancy. Now you always have a small team of lawyers, a general counsel in your company, or a small team of accountants who understand their subject very well. You don't need all your company to be only accountants unless you're a CA firm, that's a different story. So you take some people who understand that subject or understand that field and then hire a big four or a CA firm outside to do work for you. And then they will come in and then first get the team in place, then using external firms
like
and
yourselves.
the team, you make a list of governance policies of what is the meaning of cybersecurity around that, and then procure the right technologies to make sure that you're secured. So people, process, technology, and the horizontal becoming the right budget that you put in.
You have a product called Safe, I understand. Do you want to quickly run us through that?
The problem with cybersecurity has been, it's been something which has only been understood by less than 1% of your total technology team. Okay. Not just your, it's an extremely jargonized place which is there. We de-jargonized cybersecurity with Safe Score. So what our product does in a very simple way, the way you don't have to be a doctor to read a blood test report. You get a report, see the hemoglobin count number, and you know whether you're secured or safe or not. That's exactly what our product does. We go into an enterprise, show the Safe Score of the entire company, which the CEO or the promoter of the company can see, and it's on a scale of 0 to 5 where 0 is the worst and 5 is the best. And then we benchmark it with industry standards. So the other companies in your industry of your size, are they at 2.77 on an average, and you know whether you're above them or below them. And more importantly, in the last 1 year, have you gone up, have you stayed flat, or come down? Sure. So we're de-jargonizing cybersecurity in trying to give a quantification of how you can measure trust on your technology, which has now become the centerpiece of the business that you're doing.
Okay. Speaking of your company, I understand that you work very closely with the likes of WhatsApp, Google, Facebook, MyShow, etc. How does a company which is as young as yours is, 6-7 years old, you're a startup yourself, what was that experience like? How did you manage to work with these large companies, and what has that experience been?
So as you started, Sunanda, this is a very niche area. So the good news is, if you're really good at this, we don't have a lot of competition. The reason why you mentioned about, and the reason why we worked with the Google Pays and WhatsApp for payments and Beam and all of these, it's because we've been very, very closely working with the National Payments Corporation of India, NPCI. If you know, there's something called UPI, Unified Payment Interface. UPI's complete end-to-end security assessment for the last 3 years has been done by us. So the actual library, which is the integral part by which you make the payments on WhatsApp or Paytm or Google Pays or any of the net banking applications, we are responsible for the end-to-end security of not only that library, which has been given by NPCI to all of these companies, but also their application security. So on the mobile app. So it's been incredible, and we believe we've always from the first day believed in making a team which is the most cutting edge, not just in India but around the world. And that's the reason why the top companies around the world naturally choose us.
Let's also then very quickly talk about the fact that you've raised funding from some high profile investors, one of whom we've had previously on the show as well. As a startup, What was that experience like, particularly given that you're in such a niche field? And we talk funding very often. So any sort of lessons or learnings you want to give our viewers about what your journey was?
We've always tried to surround ourselves with the right mentors and the strategic investors, and not just investors, who not only bring in the money, but more importantly get us the right guidance and mentorship. You mentioned about our Series A lead, which was done by John Chambers. Yeah. He's the man who's built the world's biggest B2B technology company as Cisco, which even today is worth $250 billion. Now, he's seen every movie that we have not only seen till now, but probably will see for the next 20 years. So having somebody like him, and we've had a long list of
So his was a mentorship and an investment.
Oh, absolutely. I keep saying this to John that he doesn't know. I probably would have just given that stake that he has got without the money he puts in, because money is probably number 5 in terms of the total list of value adds that he brings in on the table. Okay. And I think for any small business to know what it knows, and more importantly know what it doesn't know, and then surround yourself with competencies of people who know that, it can be potentially extremely phenomenal for the business and for the team and the overall growth.
Okay, any more fundraising on the cards for you?
we are just closing our year in the very soon, so we've actually grown 300% last year, and the year before we had grown 240%. So we've been growing very fast, a phenomenal team of people that I've been incredibly lucky to work with. So there's a lot of interest from VC firms. We might go ahead only as long as it's strategic, and somebody who can bring in money is of course there, but more importantly the right connects and the right mentorship and guidance to really scale up a made in India product made for the world.
Great. What next for you then?
Exciting times.
Wish you all the very best for that, Saket.
Thank you for
coming
having
down.
me out here.
Time for a break. On the other side, ICSI is in focus. Just stay tuned. Welcome back with us here on Leaders of Tomorrow, and tonight ICSI is in focus. Decoding the scope of company secretaries for entrepreneurs, I spoke with Ranjit Pandey, president of ICSI, to understand what he feels small businesses should do when it comes to maintaining transparent books of accounts, as well as navigating some of the changes that have an impact on small businesses, including GST. Take a listen. Ranjit, good having you here on the show. Let's break down ICSI for our viewers and really talk about the work that you do and what really you as an organization are responsible for.
First of all, let me tell you about the ICSI. ICSI is a statutory body constituted under the Act of Parliament, Company Secretaries Act 1980. We have 74 chapters all across the region, all across India, 4 regional offices, and more than 100 tie-ups with the school and colleges for the study center under the study center scheme. So this is where we function. We run our own course, and this is the only institute which run the company secretary course. And this has basically 3 stages of curriculum. One is foundation, then executive program and professional program. And final pass out student undergo training. And after undergoing on-job training, they get the membership of ICSI.
So even as we're talking about ICSI, I also want for you to talk to our viewers about why company secretaries are so crucial, particularly for small businesses whom we are talking to tonight.
I would say that we are the governance professional, and we are the in-house corporate counsel of the company. As far as corporate governance, accountability, transparency, disclosures are concerned, policy framing in regard to corporate governance, then execution of those policies, then advising and guiding the management on the various business and transaction related issues, corporate restructuring. These roles ICSI members are playing in the employment. As far as practice side, we have divided our, in fact, Company Secretaries Act has divided into 2 parts. One, our members can go into the employment, our members can go into the practice. As far as practice side is concerned, we are practicing as a company secretary on whole time basis, advising and guiding the corporate on the various transaction related issues. We are recognized as an insolvency professional after passing due examination. With say 10 years of experience, our members can become insolvency professional. Furthermore, new recognition has came that registered valuer thing. 3-year experience company secretary can become, after again passing up the examination, they can become registered valuer also. So there are so many ample opportunity in regard to consultancy also and in regard to employment. Third thing I would say that our members are also in the other gainful employment, like they are serving the public sector undertakings, they are into government also. So multifaceted responsibilities and role and significance is there for the company.
We're talking very often about the availability of talent and whether the talent that's coming into our workplaces today have the skill sets which are required of them for the jobs that they're entering. Is it any different in your industry at ICSI? You know, how are you maybe viewing that mismatch and how are you making up that shortfall if there's any?
See, professional development and skill development is a continuous process. For the future company secretary, the students who are going to become the future members, we have always updated curriculum. We have the 5-year timeline that every 5 years we revise our curriculum. So 2017 we have changed the syllabus after all the legislative changes, say for example Company Secretaries Act, GST, IBC, all these new development has taken place in a couple of years back. So all those changes has already been incorporated in the new curriculum which ICSI has launched in year 2017. And we have also come out with the vision document, ICSI Vision 2022. We have launched it in 2017 and going to implement it completely by 2022. This vision document is also talking about the futuristic way forward for the company secretary profession. So business environment also we need to understand, and we need to change our members' mindset as per the business environment. So we keep updating our members through this certification courses, PMQ courses, and also continuous professional development programs. So we organize workshops, seminars, even webinars and web lectures are there, which keep our members updated. And we have mandatory credit hour program also, wherein certain hours members are required to complete during a year. Practicing members have different parameters, members in employment has different parameters, but they required to undergo certain CPRs, which is mandatory for every member.
A company secretary is integral when it comes to providing business solutions for any business. Perhaps you can help our viewers understand what areas of business, according to you, our company really needs the most support, the most help in.
Setting up the corporate governance, culture and framework in the company, first thing, foremost thing. Second is, of course, execution of those policies at the grassroots level. Whenever business needs reorganization or restructuring, again company secretary plays a very crucial role. Third is, of course, corporate restructuring.
Speaking of where businesses need the most help, I want to talk about really financing and funding. And a lot of small businesses today say they're either finding it very difficult to raise funds or are not able to continue because of the lack of funds. And that's something, in fact, we're seeing even some of the larger businesses really facing. Your advice then about how you sort of you plan for the future, how you envision how much you're going to need for the future, and you're able to then plan for the fundraising that you will need.
I will divide this question into two parts. One is availability of the finance and second, utility of it. First is whether finances are available. I think SMEs require professional guidance and not very, very costly guidances, because hiring a big law firm or maybe big 4 consultancy firm would be very, very difficult. So they can go for the individual practitioners who have very good acumen and knowledge in regard to SME functioning, how to raise finances. So that particular mix of financing must be given to them. So company secretary being a professional, having the very good knowledge of the instrument through which the corporate can raise the fund, that will definitely going to help the SMEs. In fact, we have launched in the new curriculum we have given one paper, and that paper is named, module named is corporate funding and listing. That means we are now teaching our students that how to raise finances for the small businesses, medium enterprises, and even for the bigger businesses like listing. So raising money through the public and stock exchanges. So this is one part. Second part is managing those funds. You got the fund, but where is the utility? How we should be able to utilize this fund for the purpose of growth of the business, rather than spending it on the, say, expansion, or maybe on a different track altogether, which was not initially thought of for the purpose of this particular business. So understanding the business need, understanding the need of utilization of the fund, and proper utilization and end usage of that fund is required to be analyzed, and that guidance can be provided by the say professional like company secretaries, so that SMEs can grow.
While we very often talk about technology here on the show, I want to talk about technology, but with a bit of a difference for you, in the sense that I understand you've launched an e-library to provide free access to knowledge resources to your members. How's technology changed the way you, as an organization, as a professional, as company secretaries, really, the way you approach your business today, given that we've seen technology and we've seen digital transformations?
As far as e-library is concerned, it has basically e-books particularly. All the curriculum which ICSI has launched, we have 8 modules in executive program, 9 modules at the professional program, and all other things. So these things are, we have some of the things we have already digitalized, and some of the things we are in the process of digitalizing. So idea behind this e-library is that members should get the free of cost updates. We have tie up with some agencies also which provide this e-library facility. So this e-library facility we are providing for the purpose of updates, because why it is required, I would say the need is that everyday law is changing, updates are coming on a very frequent basis, and updating the physical books on a regular interval is very, very difficult. So now with the usage of technology, e-library will be helpful. Members can search the latest cases decided by the NCLT, High Court, Supreme Court, and updates from RBI, updates from SEBI, updates from everywhere, all the regulator they are getting on the click of button. So with the invent of technology and use of digital say knowledge repository, members will be able to get the ease, and they will be able to provide the services to the corporate, more updated services, and they will be having the more time to devote on the advisory part and particularly productivity part, rather than just doing the research. So research technology, this machine will be doing, and members will be concentrating on the productive delivery of the services.
Ranjit, good having you on the show tonight.
Nice talking to you. Thank you so much.
That's our show tonight. If you have any feedback for us, here's how you get in touch. leadersoftomorrow@timesgroup.com is our email ID. Write to us on Twitter, Sunanda_J and LOT_ET now, or Facebook, Leaders of Tomorrow on ET Now. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.